I'm just going to do an addendum on to the two that I've already done. I was hoping to reel off my whole criminal history. I seem to have, well, it's not going to be as simple as that, is it? I don't know how we got found out for the burglary. Probably something to do with one of the kids that did get caught by the police that night, owning up. And within 2 weeks I knew there was going to be a visit from the police to my parents. Or actually my parent, my stepmother by then had run off to Scotland, fortunately. And there's another interesting story there. That I need to look at. And I don't remember denying the charge. And rather than take us to court, what is traditional in England is your first offence you were given a caution for. Things are different these days. You can get a caution even if you've got offences, but if the crime is small. But this was in 1971, 72. At that time, your first offence, if it wasn't serious, you got a caution. And we were taken in front of the local chief constable one Monday night, who venomously spat across the desk how wicked we were and how a life of crime was not an advisable career choice. I remember it coming across as very ineffective in any practical sense. He was trying to frighten us and he didn't. He was very elaborate with the way he expressed himself, which was almost amusing. And I have that in my mind, that you venomously spat across his desk at us in an attempt to frighten us away from crime. Though not being critical as such, these people, many of them, especially then, because then the police did not have large money like they do now, get £600 a week basic pay these days. Those days policing was a vocation of those that actually gave a fuck, apparently. And the large wages came about to avoid corruption, as you could go to a place like Turkey and bakshish, they're all coining it, and you park your car. I was with a Q80 oil sheikh type guy who was visiting Turkey. He wasn't an oil sheikh, he worked for a scrap metal company. We, in our limited Western minds, associated his dress with oil sheikhs and called him Sheikh Yamani. Sheikh Yamani. We went to a nightclub with him one night, and as we came out in the early hours of the morning, the local police chief was stood by his car waiting for his baksheesh. He explained to us that one of the local street cops would have seen his Q80 registration plates and called his boss, and his boss were waiting for his baksheesh, they called it. He paid it because that was the tradition. And it's almost as though he parked his car in an illegal position so that the local police would then guard it for him, knowing that they would be waiting for his baksheesh no matter where he parked it in any case. So it didn't add that one up for yourselves. Sad ending. There was more I wanted to add. My first time in court was after stealing a 4 English pence ring from the local shopping market, out with my school friends one dinner time. We used to go out shoplifting during the dinner hour. I'd been caught stealing it might have been a 6 pence, actually, not 4 pence ring. That was a joke ring that had a squeezy thing, and you say look at the ring, and you squeeze the bulb and squeeze water at them. There was 5 or 6 of us got caught, and one of the guys, it was his birthday, the 30th of November if I remember right. As I had already had a caution, I was taken to court. The other 5 got a caution. It was very interesting as well. My father checked the legal books, couldn't afford a solicitor to check the legal books, found that I was charged with theft. You could only be guilty of theft if you took a thing off someone with the intention of totally depriving them of it. He got me to, his plan was I would plead not guilty, and he would argue that once I realised the consequences and the severity of stealing from shopkeepers, I would have returned the ring and therefore could not have been guilty of theft. Though when we got to court, as it was a juvenile court, it was not do you plead guilty or not guilty, it was do you admit or deny the offence. I stood there. My father hadn't done his research properly. Excuse my laugh, mate. It's to do with an earlier video I made about him rising from the dead on the Day of Judgment and wondering whether he'd done his research properly. Do you admit or deny the offence? We'd gone in there. It's my father trying to stop me getting a black mark against my name, knowing that within the system he loved so much because he could play it, and he went from working class tea-boy to headmaster with 2 or 3 educational degrees, which gave him, each degree gave him a 5 or 6 year incremental pay increase as part of the degree. He didn't want me to have a criminal record, and it was his way of trying to prevent that occurring. Do you admit or deny the offence? Well, we'd gone in there to plead not guilty. Being asked to admit or deny the offence left me a bit. I have to say I denied it, although I could not deny it because I had done it. And then we went through the farce of trial, which I was found guilty and fined £25 or something. I had to do a paper round all my teenage years to pay the fines. From that point on, I was in court at least once a year from 11 to 16, and strangely, the money I earned from the paper round always paid the fines, maybe 10p left over. Spent my teenage years sending 50p postal orders to the local fines office. There's a long more story going on here that I will return to once I've watched these videos and done some self-forgiveness and some blogging. I have to start blogging on this. I'm possibly going to do it on my MySpace account, because I've just discovered you can connect the accounts, and I've recorded these videos. I recorded the other two definitely on to MySpace as well. Excuse my yawning. I'm not bored. It is 7 AM. I've been up for 2 hours. I've got my body clock set to, I've got terrible heating here, storage heaters. You can only put them on at night. You get cheaper electricity at night, and you put the storage heaters on. They store heat in them during the night and let it out slowly during the day, though. It's too cold not to have any heating on. What I do is I turn the bedroom one on when I go to bed at midnight, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, turn the bedroom one off and come and turn the living room one on, and then it has 2.5 hours of heat, and that's enough to keep the living room. I have this fire as well. When it's been on all night, I can't breathe in here. I'm not used to the dry heat, and I don't want to get used to it either. 12 minutes. Greetings.